The 2024 MLB season is finally underway. And just like every other season, you have your contenders, you have your pretenders, and you have all those other teams that fall somewhere in the middle. San Diego Padres are one of those somewhere in the middle teams. Talented? Yes, but not quite talented enough compared to some of the favorites. But that's not why you clicked on this video, now is it? No, you're not here because you want to hear, well, they'll fall just short yet again. No, you clicked because you want to hear my crazy theory as to why I think they will go all the way. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Why the 2024 San Diego Padres will win the World Series. The 2024 Padres are a solid team. They have stars in multiple positions, along with players just a tier below, as well as up-and-coming talent ready to contribute or knocking on the door. They also boast one of the top farm systems in the league, and a front office that isn't afraid to aggressively promote any player that they deem ready to move up. But, with the good comes the bad. The National League reigning Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell is gone, having taken his services to division rival San Francisco, as is one of the top closers in the game in Josh Hader, having signed with Houston. And of course, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, the biggest loss of all. The god of walks himself, Juan Soto, having been shipped off to the New York Yankees along with center fielder Trent Grisham in a 6-player deal. That's a lot of talent. Top talent at that, gone in a single offseason. What exactly did they replace him with? Dylan Cease, Robert Suarez, and Jurickson Profar. Other than Cease, not exactly household names. Now, you're probably thinking, you're not exactly making a case for them winning. Yeah, you know, but hear me out. While a team might seem worse on paper, there's still a lot of potential here. Fernando Tatis Jr., arguably the best player on the team, is another year removed from his surgery and his move from shortstop to the outfield. Not that the position change seems to have bothered him too much with how quickly he acclimated himself to right field, winning the National League Platinum Glove in 2023. His hitting, though, one that saw him hit .257 with 25 home runs and 78 RBI, along with an OPS plus of 113, it will benefit the most as he will be further healed from his surgery. NL pitchers, beware. Xander Bogaerts started on fire during the first month of the season until his balky wrist started bothering him. Once he healed from that, though, he returned to the Xander of old, hitting .321 in the second half of the season to go along with an SOPS plus of 131. Moving to second base, a less demanding position, should also benefit him and allow him to focus on what landed him that huge contract in the first place, his hitting. Manny Machado was not the same Manny Machado of past years, in large part thanks to his tennis elbow, as he saw his batting average dip to a near career low of .258 to go along with an OPS plus of 115. But even with the down numbers all across the board by Machado standards, he still managed to drill 30 home runs and drive in 91. Not bad for an injury-riddled season. And with surgery done this past offseason, and his position in the lineup as the everyday DH while he continues healing, the season could have Manny return to being Manny. Switching positions up the middle with Bogaerts is Ha-Seong Kim, who had one heck of a breakout season last year. While his numbers might not jump off the page, a .260 batting average with 17 home runs and 60 RBI to go along with an OPS plus of 110, they were all still improvements across the board. Not to mention his elite defense that saw him earn the first Gold Glove of his career. The rest of the lineup has plenty of potential as well. Longtime prospect Luis Campusano has finally been given the reins behind the plate and will get a chance to show what he can do after a strong second half that saw him hit .331 with 6 home runs and 31 RBI. Returning at first base is Jake Cronenworth, who was hoping to have a bounce-back season after an abysmal year saw him hit career lows across every offensive category. Out in center, rookie Jackson Merrill will be tasked with taking over the position after the trade of perennial Gold Glover Trent Grisham. It won't be an easy task for the former shortstop learning a new position on the fly, but if his bat is able to translate to the majors, the inevitable growing pains out in the field will be much easier to swallow. Left field is probably the weakest position on paper of them all, but if Jerks and Profar can at very least be serviceable, he will only need to fill the role until either one of the Padres' outfield prospects like Jacob Marcy or even potentially a converted Graham Pauley can take over. Either that, or General Manager AJ Preller does AJ Preller things and brings in reinforcements. On the mound, the rotation is an intriguing bunch. Joe Musgrove is the de facto ace of this rotation going into the season. He has blossomed into a workhorse for San Diego, pitching in at least 30 games and tossing 181 innings in each of his first 2 seasons in his hometown's brown and gold, even throwing the team's first ever no-hitter back in 2021. 2023 was setting up to be another solid season until right shoulder capsule inflammation sidelined him for good in late July. Fully healed, bounce back is definitely in the cards for Java Joe. Yu Darvish is on the wrong side of 35 and had what is easily his worst season to date. His numbers were far from good. 8-10 with a 4.56 ERA and ERA plus of 90. Not to mention the elbow inflammation that saw his season end in August. Throw in the remaining 5 years of the 6-year contract extension he signed last season, and all signs point to a finished former ace. But with a work ethic like very few others in the game, barring another injury, Darvish could easily bounce back. Sure, his days at the top of the rotation starter are probably done, but a solid number 3 is attainable. Dylan Cease was brought in to essentially replace Blake Snell in the rotation. Much like the reigning Cy Young Award winner, Cease is a pitcher known for high strikeout numbers. And like Snell, he is also known for walking batters and not getting past the 6th inning too often. Last year was not great for Cease, a 4.58 ERA to go along with a 7.9 record and an ERA plus of 97. But after finishing second in the AL Cy Young Award in 2022, this trade could be a fresh start for the 27-year-old under the tutelage of Padres pitching coach Ruben Niebla. Michael King, one of the pieces acquired in the Juan Soto trade, is poised by many pundits to have a breakout season on the mound. After 3+ years shuffling back and forth between the rotation and the Bronx bullpen, the now 29-year-old King finished last season as a starter, becoming one of New York's most reliable and consistent arms down the stretch. Rounding out the rotation is knuckleballer Matt Waldron. Waldron's minor league numbers are somewhat unspectacular, with a 5.52 ERA over 79 career minor league games. But considering he beat out other arms with big league experience this past spring training, it's clear the Padres see someone who can at the very least be serviceable and need innings. And if he can't, there are others that will be ready to take his spot. The bullpen is built well with multiple arms like Wandy Peralta and Japanese import Yuki Matsui, all able to serve various roles. Robert Suarez is a closer going into the season, taking over for the departed Josh Hader. Suarez took a unique route to the majors, having never pitched stateside, instead honing his craft in Mexico and Japan before San Diego signed him before the start of the 2022 season. He does have 9th inning experience, having previously been the closer for the Hanshin Tigers, but this will be his first season closing out games full-time in the majors. As long as he can replicate his Japan numbers, as well as his rookie season of 2022, and put behind him his injury-riddled 2023 season, he has the potential to be the next great closer. As I mentioned before, this team does have plenty of talent, albeit with some question marks. So, how does this team, with its talent, but flaws and holes, win the World Series when a more talented 2023 Padres team failed to meet those expectations, fell flat on their faces, and missed the postseason altogether? Simple. Number 1, expectations. The 2023 Padres were labeled by many as one of the favorites at the start of last season. Whether that had an impact on them or not, one could argue that was a lot to be expected from a franchise that has yet to win a World Series. The team floundered and never found its way back until it was just too late. Those same expectations, though, are not there this season, allowing the players to just focus on playing. Number 2, team chemistry. As great as Juan Soto is at the plate, he just never seemed to quite fit into the grand scheme of things. Maybe it was his refusal to consider an extension, or perhaps the decision to work and take walks in crucial late inning at-bats instead of trying to drive in the run. Regardless of it, as the last 2 seasons showed, his great talent wasn't the missing link that was needed in the heart of the San Diego lineup. Josh Hader is another example, as he recently admitted in an interview that he flat-out refused to pitch more than 1 inning down the stretch, even when the team was still fighting for a playoff spot going into the last week of the season. His reasoning that he was worried about his bag certainly didn't help matters. Great players? Definitely. Would any lineup or bullpen be generally better with them? Absolutely. But a team is built on more than talent. The 2023 Padres are a prime example of that. This year's team just seems more united and relaxed, especially with the return of fan and clubhouse favorite Jurickson Profar. Funny how the team played better when he resigned in September of last year, isn't it? Number 3, luck. The Padres were incredibly unlucky in 2023. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Dude, all teams are unlucky. Yes, that's true. But San Diego took it to another level. They had an extra innings record of 2-12, not winning their first extra innings contest until September 27th. Their record in one-run games was also atrocious, nosediving from 30-17 in 2022 to an abysmal 9-23 in 2023. And let's not forget the lineup's tendency to go quiet after an offensive outburst. The team scored 1 run or less in 11 games, following a game where they scored at least 7. Yikes! Not to mention their first 4-game winning streak, not coming until September 17th. That really says something. They really were as unlucky as can be. Teams have to try really hard to be that bad. Yet somehow, San Diego found a way to do it consistently. I will eat my hat if the Padres are that unlucky again this year. The 2024 Padres have a sprinkle of youth mixed in with plenty of veteran talent and experience, as well as multiple players either returning from injury or another year further along in their recovery. Something that should give them a fighting chance against even the biggest and baddest of teams. Not to mention their strong desire to win a ring and honor the memory of their recently passed owner, Peter Seidler. A division title is likely out of the question as long as the Dodgers reside in the same division, but a wildcard berth should be well within reach. Mix the talent in the lineup and on the mound with a dash of just enough luck and some well-picked mid-season reinforcements, and San Diego could easily find themselves playing October baseball. When it comes to the postseason, the trick is just to get in. Because once in, we all know it's a new season. In a new season that, as we have seen the past few years, anything can happen. Especially for a team and a city with the hunger to win that San Diego has. And that is why the 2024 San Diego Padres will win the World Series. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button below and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new content. I'll catch you next time.